Good morning, everyone. Just waiting for a few people to come in and we'll get started. Um, I did one, I think it was last Saturday, live stream, and it should have been 9 minutes and it only went to 3 minutes, I guess. So, not sure what happened. I'll have to keep an eye on the timer. That was my second time doing a live stream. The first time I had done it with the snowstorm that we had, about a month and a half ago. So we'll see what happens. There's a few things that I want to bring up today. Number one is a couple of shout outs to a couple of channels. One is a new channel that I just found, and I listened to this man's testimony yesterday, and um, he's a single dad. In fact, that's the name of his channel is Single Dad Homestead. I really liked what I heard from Chris, and if I remember right, yeah, actually he's grown. He's up to 531 subscribers now. Um, but that's one channel I wanna make mention. In fact, if I can put his name, I'm gonna put his name here in the chat part. I really encourage you to check his channel out. Um, I think there's going to be a lot of things. He's fairly new, but I think there's going to be a lot of things that he might be able to offer to all of us. Nobody's in yet. The other one that just today, I've been following him for quite a while, Danny, and I hope I get the name right. Um, Deep South Homestead. Um, he has what he calls a porch chat. He does a lot of other things, gardening. His wife has quite a bit, canning, some cooking things. Um, but he does a porch chat, and I was really touched by what I heard today, talking about dreams. When I saw the title, because this is a channel that I follow almost every day. If there's something on their channel, I'll watch. But he was talking about dreams, and when I first saw that, it was like, oh no, another YouTube had a dream about the end of the world coming tomorrow. And so when I went to listen, first of all, I had my guard up. But he debunked that right off the bat. That's not what he was going at. So, um, but I would encourage you. In fact, let me see if I can find it, and I'll post the link for that because I think that's something that we all need to listen to. For those who are believers of Jesus Christ, there was a lot of um, in the Old Testament. There was a lot about the end times. Jesus spoke on the end times. Um, Apostle Paul spoke about the end times, and like Danny had mentioned, I believe we're living right there in the end times. Just because of what's happening, stuff that was prophesied, we see it happening. No, I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, even this year, because I don't know. Nor would I say when I think it's going to happen. But let me see. But anyways, it opened up my eyes to some things um, that are going on right now. It reminded me of some scripture that I've known. Um, but it just brought it to light. Actually, I can share the post right here. Still nobody in the room. If you want to see that video, it's right here. Like I said, I would encourage everybody to listen. Um, for those who are preppers or homesteaders, we want to be more self sufficient. Um, there's so many things that could happen. Well, hello, Danny. Welcome. What am I up to? Well, here in Maine, it's about 3 or 4 degrees, and with wind chill, we're down to about minus 13 or 14. I have snow like crazy. In fact, they're talking about 3 to 5 inches right off. Um, in my front yard, I have about a 16-foot snowbank. My garden has about 5 feet of snow in it, so I can't get into my garden. I'm watching some of the garden channels. They're planting. A lot of them are doing the seeds, starting the seeds inside, but they're also getting into the garden. I was watching one from down in Georgia, I think. He was planting broccoli. He planted his potatoes yesterday. And that food storage, yes. Welcome, Zero to Homestead. Glad you could join us this morning. Um, you know, that's one of the things that I want to do. I know there's some other channels that are showing, even if you live in the city and you have a balcony, you can grow something. Patio tomatoes. You can even grow carrots in pots. We can all grow something. Here I have a little bit less than an acre of land. Um, I have a 30. Actually, it's about 30 by 35 now because I extended it last year. I also have 3 4 by 30 raised beds that I grow quite a bit. And there you go. I grow in old tires. You can do that. So many different ways. They have bags that you can grow potatoes in. And I guess that works well. So that's part of my point is grow. What is my best crop? I can grow tons of pole beans. I think the Blue Lake, I can grow tons of those and very little effort. Because when we first moved here, I had a lot of cats that tried to use my garden for a litter box. So I started fencing my garden up. And the row, or a lot of times it would be 2 rows. So here's 2 30-foot rows planted on the inside and the outside of the garden. And I would plant my seeds and they grow up. I'd have to put another 4-foot section around. I'll show you that this spring when I start planting. But I was giving my land 3 or 4 grocery bags of beans to neighbors almost every day. Rhubarb. No, I don't. I love rhubarb. My wife doesn't. But I could grow a lot of rhubarb here. Quite a few of my neighbors have rhubarb. The other thing that I can grow a lot of, and that's tomatoes. The way I do my tomatoes, and especially with the using the Back to Eden garden, I grow a lot of tomatoes and beautiful tomatoes. Onions. Onions I do very well with. Um, now, I'm not sure if you all are doing onion sets. That's how I always used to do them. But I have been getting my onions from Dixondale Farms. I buy plants. In fact, I just ordered them about 3 days ago. Um, I'll never go back to sets again. With the onion plants, I don't get the hollow centers. Um, so it's been really good for me. If my wife was here, I'd have her grab a bundle just to show the red onions. I mean, they're huge. They're softball size. Those are the red Zeppelin that I plant here. Because you got to remember, I'm up in Maine. We're actually zone B, 4B. The other ones, which I love, are Copra. They will store a good. Well, we've had them last a good year. I think what they recommend is 8 to 10 months storage. You can't grow rhubarb. Can't grow that in the south. Yeah, um, Danny, I would recommend looking at Dixondale Farms. Actually, they have a YouTube channel too. I don't think they posted anything new recently, but um, check them out, and their prices are reasonable. On the back to Eden style, Danny, that works for you. Dixondale Farms, yes, yes, good people. When you call to order, very very pleasant. Um, I always enjoy talking to them when I plant my orders. I think this is the fourth year that I've done this. Actually, I think it's the fifth year. And just love what comes. You buy bundles. Usually they'll tell you it's going to be 50 to 75 in a bundle. And there's been times I've had over 100 in a bunch. Which that to me that says something right there. On the back to Eden garden, do you like that garden style? Okay. I think I saw you doing that just a week or so ago. I had found one of your videos on that, and I think I had commented. I used the wood chips, um, and that's worked really well for me. I know the first year that we did it, I had brought a cabbage in, and it was a good sized cabbage. And my wife put it on the counter, and she was cutting it in half, and the water just poured out of it. So it does hold the moisture. Weeding, I don't have to do hardly any weeding in my garden now. Um, if I'm going to have grass, if I'm going to have weeds, it's usually where it comes in from the outside. The outside of the garden, the grass roots will try to go in. So maybe 2 feet around the edges, I'll have to do that. I want to do wood chips, but I want a chipper because I refuse to buy when we have so many trees. Okay, I'm not sure about your area. I know for us, we have a local tree service business right handy, and all I have to do is call them up, and they bring them, they dump them, and they don't charge. And the reason why is because many of the landfills they charge them to dump. So it works really good for me. The other outfit, and I know they're known throughout the United States, is it a Splendy? They trim mostly around power lines. I would check with them too. Free is always better. One thing that I do, because we're in winter here, is I don't usually get wood chips during the winter months because I want the leaves. I want the leaves with it because they help with that breaking down process. What free wood chips do you have to be careful of? What kinds of wood is it? I throw down cut tall grass or hay on mine to mulch, and yes, no weeds. It's so great. I'm glad to hear you do it this way. And my plan is to show how I do that in the spring. When I go through my whole planning process. I have a lot of people who, through the ministry channel, um, I brought it up, and they say they've tried it and they've rototilled the chips in, and then nothing grows. Well, I can understand that. Um, this is why I want to show a lot of these things. I've got an incoming call, so I'm going to ignore that call right now. It's just a telemarketer. Um, yeah, where was I going with that? Potatoes. Paul Gauci, the one that is doing this up in Washington State, with his potatoes, he harvests his potatoes, I'm going to say probably in August, maybe September. And he takes his biggest potato and puts it right back in the ground. And I remember the first year I was harvesting my potatoes, and it's like, oh, do I want to do this? It was the first year that I had grown the Yukon Golds, which is my wife's favorite. And I had beautiful, beautiful Yukon Gold potatoes. And okay, I'm going to have to do this by faith. And I did. I put my biggest potatoes in, and it was kind of a different fall. I don't think we had any snow until December. November was super warm for us here in Maine. And I'm thinking, yeah, my potatoes are going to come up and I'm going to lose them. Well, I was so impressed that next spring when they came up. And that's the way I've done it ever since. The worms in my garden, I have worms like never before. So everything's working. And the more I do this, the better it will get. I haven't grown potatoes. This is off topic. Are you a veteran? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And thank you for asking. No, I was 23 years old when I went in. And, well, I thank your dad for his service. I was 23 years Army. And during basic and NAIT was when the Grenada conflict, Lebanon conflict, and Panama. I didn't serve. I didn't fight in a battle. Actually, shortly after I got to my permanent duty station, which was Fort Sill, Oklahoma, I had come home January 1st. My son was born January 6th. I headed back on the 10th, and I helped somebody that was off the road. We were in a winter storm, and hooked onto him, got him into the breakdown lane, and a drunk driver ran into the back of him and slammed it up against my truck. I was unhooking the chain, so I'm walking around on an artificial leg. Well, hello, Mimsy. How are you? Welcome. Welcome. So, and I thank you. No, Danny, that was a wake-up call for me, because at that time I thought, my life was, I was invisible. And I think as young people, we often think that. Um, that was a wake up call. And my wife and my grandson just came in, so I'm going to have to end this. Um, Up at the top, you're going to see that I posted a couple channels. One is from Deep South Homestead. I know they have a lot of subscribers, but I would really ask that you watch the video that Danny put on today, Live Your Dream. That really spoke volumes to me. And the other one, let me see if I can get back there. Okay, the other one is Single Dad Homestead. If you look up at the top, you'll see I posted it. Change your mindset. I enjoyed hearing from you, Jim. I will look at the onions. Awesome. And again, I thank you. I had done one Saturday, a live thing, and for some reason it should have been a 9-minute video. Only went a little over 3 minutes, so this is going to be a learning curve for me. Awesome, Mimsy. Awesome. I was watching a live stream that they had just the other night, and it sounded interesting. So, very good. Again, want to thank you for joining in. Hopefully, an evening this week, I can do another one and get to know you all. My grandson has gotten big. 6'4", 13 years old. Actually, no, he just turned 14. Later, guys. God bless you all.